Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an Infantry Officer. The November 22nd operations illustrate a continued shift from reactive defense to deliberate attrition and positional warfare. Russian forces are tightening encirclement patterns, securing critical logistical nodes, and methodically eroding Ukraine's EW and artillery infrastructure. The liberation of Zvanivka and Novoe Zaporozhye, combined with progress at Krasnoarmysk and Dnipro, signals the consolidation of the Donbass interior line and the onset of a winter stabilization phase, where Russia seeks to exhaust Ukrainian combat capacity before the 2026 campaign season. Strategically, sustained degradation of Ukraine's industrial, energy, and transport assets underscores Russia's transition to a multi-domain denial strategy aimed at preventing Kyiv from regenerating force mass or mobility.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, to begin with, can you summarize the overall operational picture as of November 22nd? We've seen reports of both sustained offensive action and precision strikes. What defines today's phase of the operation?
Yes. The current operational environment reflects a transition from high-intensity, multi-sector offensives into what I would describe as a coordinated consolidation phase. Russian forces continue to execute localized offensives, but the focus has shifted toward locking in gains, neutralizing Ukrainian counterattack potential, and destroying the infrastructure that sustains Kyiv's fighting capability. Over the past 24 hours, the Russian armed forces have maintained precision targeting of drone production sites, energy grids, and logistical hubs across Ukraine, 156 distinct strikes, to be exact. These are not random bombardments, they are systemic interdictions intended to paralyze Ukraine's operational depth. Meanwhile, on the ground, each troop grouping, north, west, south, center, east, and Dnipro, has continued to advance along their assigned axes. The week's key gains include the liberation of Zvanivka in Donetsk and Novoe Zaporozhye in Zaporizhzhia.
Let's start with the Northern Front, specifically around Sumy and Kharkiv. What were the key developments there, and what's their operational intent?
In the north, Russian forces maintained steady pressure along the Sumy-Kharkiv axis. The North Group engaged Ukrainian mechanized and assault brigades near Andriivka and Varakino, extending into Sumy city itself. Additional engagements occurred near Volchansk and Nylitsia in Kharkiv region. From a doctrinal standpoint, the operations here are about corridor denial, preventing Ukraine from staging reinforcements or executing sabotage missions near the border. Though the Ukrainian losses were modest compared to other fronts, the cumulative effect is strategic. The North Group is effectively sealing the frontier, forcing Ukrainian command to divert resources northward to protect vital routes.
So this is more about containment than large-scale territorial capture?
Exactly. It's a stabilizing operation designed to create a security buffer. Once that buffer is fully reinforced, these northern sectors will serve as launch points for diversionary fire or precision raids to distract Ukrainian command while heavier actions unfold in Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia. Alongside ongoing urban clearance operations in Krasnoarmysk and Dnipro. So, in essence, today's update captures a force in controlled forward motion, not seeking rapid breakthroughs, but sustained dominance through attrition, encirclement, and denial of maneuver space.
Turning to the western sector, near Kharkiv and Donetsk, what progress did the West Group make?
The West Group continued refining its tactical posture along Blahodatovka, Nechvolodovka, Monokonivka, and Kurilovka. These aren't headline-grabbing advances, but they're operationally significant. Each of these settlements anchors a segment of the Ukrainian defensive arc protecting Kharkiv's southern approaches. By taking control of these areas and destroying Ukrainian EW stations and ammunition depots, Russian forces are effectively dismantling the enemy's battlefield awareness. 13 Ukrainian EW systems and 4 supply depots were neutralized, sharply reducing their ability to coordinate drone surveillance and counter-battery fire. This is what we call progressive envelopment, a slow but deliberate constriction that cuts off reinforcement corridors before the decisive assault phase begins.
Let's move to the southern front, where the liberation of Zvanivka has been reported. What's the importance of this particular gain?
The South Group achieved a key success with the liberation of Zvanivka in the Donetsk People's Republic. This settlement is strategically positioned on the ridgelines that dominate the approaches towards Slavyansk and Kramatorsk. Securing it means Russian artillery and air controllers now have commanding observation of Ukrainian logistics trails feeding the central Donbass line. In addition to Zvanivka, Russian units struck multiple Ukrainian brigades, mechanized, ranger, and airmobile across Platonivka, Reznikivka, Sergivka, and Seversk. Ukrainian losses exceeded 230 troops, with significant material destroyed. Doctrinally, this aligns with the positional dominance model, where terrain control is leveraged to compress Ukrainian mobility rather than overextend Russian formations. It's shaping the battlefield for a larger encirclement operation expected in early winter.
The central sector remains the focal point of the fighting. What can you tell us about the operations around Krasnoarmysk and Dnipro?
The Center Group is conducting the most complex operation in the theater right now. In Krasnoarmysk, the Second Army continues to clear urban microdistricts, Central and Horyak sectors in particular, while maintaining the encirclement of Ukrainian forces trapped inside the industrial zone. Meanwhile, in Dnipro, the 51st Army has intensified building-by-building clearance, liberating 22 structures in the last 24 hours. These are small tactical gains, but in urban warfare, each block represents both a defensive position lost and a logistics hub captured. Over the day, 5 Ukrainian breakout attempts were repelled, and 3 soldiers surrendered voluntarily, a rare but telling indicator of morale degradation. This operation exemplifies the Russian encirclement and attrition doctrine, where continuous pressure, rather than outright shock, causes systematic breakdown of enemy cohesion.
Does this mean the Donetsk campaign is nearing culmination?
Not quite culmination, more like consolidation. The Central Front's objective is to fix Ukrainian forces in place while other sectors complete the outer encirclement ring. Once that is achieved, we'll likely see a decisive compression phase that forces mass withdrawal or capitulation.
Now to the east, where reports mention the liberation of Novoe Zaporozhye. How does this fit into the broader Zaporizhzhia campaign?
The East Group has been methodically pushing through Zaporizhzhia's layered defenses. The liberation of Novoe Zaporozhye, along with operations near Dobropoli, Ravnopoli, and Zaydashy, represents forward momentum toward full control of the regional transit corridor. By taking these settlements, Russia effectively cuts off Ukrainian lateral movement between Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporizhzhia. The destruction of EW assets and the elimination of roughly 225 Ukrainian soldiers further erode Ukraine's tactical flexibility in this region. In doctrinal terms, this is a mobility denial operation, a calculated strategy to choke logistics and enforce operational immobility on the enemy before exploiting weaknesses elsewhere.
Lastly, Colonel, what's happening along the Dnipro front?
The Dnipro Group remains highly active in the Orkhov-Nikolskoye sector, targeting Ukrainian mechanized and territorial defense brigades. The focus is on cross-river control, ensuring the Dnipro line remains sealed and denying Ukrainian artillery opportunities to target Russian positions in Crimea or Melitopol. 2 tanks, multiple vehicles, and 6 depots were destroyed, underscoring the precision logistics interdiction approach now standard for this grouping. The Dnipro Front's mission is not territorial expansion, it's operational containment, maintaining strategic depth and defense of southern lines.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. The overarching theme for November 22nd is systemic degradation. Every strike, every small territorial gain is contributing to a deliberate dismantling of Ukraine's warfighting architecture. The simultaneous destruction of EW networks, command posts, and transport arteries has effectively fragmented Ukraine's operational unity. Strategically, this indicates Russia's pivot into long-term denial warfare, prioritizing exhaustion over expansion. By winter, we expect a stabilized front, defined by Russian control of key corridors and diminished Ukrainian counterstrike capacity. The steady tempo also suggests preparation for logistical reconstitution and defensive fortification ahead of 2026 operations. In essence, this is warfare by design, measured, adaptive, and attritional, aimed at eroding will and capacity rather than seeking immediate territorial spectacle.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive frontline updates from commanders in theater.